Stop selling on price and start selling to the person. Hey everyone, it's Nick McLean, and if you're in the service industry or the consulting industry, as I'm in the real estate industry, so I'm working with clients that are buyers or sellers, people, the majority of people in the industry, they talk about price, features, and benefits, and they really need to be talking about the person. And if you want to be super successful, as I've been in my career selling over 5,000 homes and $1 billion in sales, you need to focus on the person, not the price. And I'm going to take it a step further today and teach you that you need to fall in love with your clients. You need to fall in love with the person. And really, you need to be curious and passionate about human behavior. See, I love people, but what I love most about people is their brain. I love their brain. I mean, I don't discriminate. So because I only care about their thoughts and their ideas and their hearts. And so I'm going to give you some techniques today to tap into the person when you're talking to a new client. Maybe it's a past client, a current client, because as you go layers deep with people, the more trust, the more transparency, the deeper relationships. And as we know, a relationship is the greatest equity we have in our business. So in a consulting business or a real estate industry business, really we have no assets. We don't own the properties. We don't make products. The only thing we have is relationships. So if you ever want to sell your business, you're going to be selling your book of business or your relationships. And so they really have to have not just past transactions with you, they need to have a relationship and trust that when you transfer them over to someone else, that they're going to stick with you. One exercise I use with my team that works really well to fall in love with your clients is an article that I found, and it's called 36 Questions to Fall in Love with Anyone. So 36 questions to fall in love with anyone. And at the end of the 36 questions, be very careful because you might fall in love or they might fall in love with you. But if you think about your relationships and the strengths of your relationships with your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, partners, or friends, it's the level of disclosures that has formed the bonds. It's the level of transparency and vulnerability that has formed the bonds, right? So I'll give you an example. When I was in college, I took a class called Human Sexuality. And the reason I took that class is because I heard that you watched videos, they showed you content that I didn't have growing up. And I was really curious about that human sexuality content. But what I learned there was a principle that has served me the rest of my life. And that is to form a relationship, you need to self-disclose. So a lot of times as a leader in the consulting industry, we need to self-disclose something secret, something intimate, something that not everyone knows, that's private, for the other person to feel that it's a safe environment for them to also disclose. And if someone's disclosing something to you that's very intimate, private, and secret or personal, just be there to listen and know that they're letting you in. Because we're going to form some love here. And so first I wanted you to think about self-disclosures and disclosures, private. So 36 questions to fall in love with anyone. Do this. I can ask them some questions. And obviously these are questions that you would build into. So first start with, who are you? Where did you grow up? When were you born? How were you raised? What's your last name? What's the origin of the last name? Be very curious in the person. And then you can go a little bit deeper. And here are some of the questions. And in fact, if you want a copy of this 36 questions, leave a comment in YouTube or find me on Facebook and send me a message and I'll be sure to get you this information. Number one, I'll give you something. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want to have dinner with, right? So who do you look up to? Who's a mentor? Who's a leader? Who's someone that's influenced you in your life? Who has influenced you most? What's the single person that's influenced you most in your life? Common answers: father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, teacher, coach. Tell me why. What is it about them, right? Would you like to be famous and why? Right? Are they private people? Or are they outgoing people? Do they want fame? Are they looking to advance their life in my industry, real estate, because of the ego, because of the fame, because of the status and stature. A lot of people buy services and consulting for growth in their lives because they want to increase their status. Before making a telephone call, do you rehearse it, right? Or if I'm working with a couple, if it comes to calling someone new, a stranger, who's the person that's going to make that phone call? Because usually with two people, one person's going to make the phone call, right? In my relationship with my wife is going to say, Nick, can you call the contractor or the dinner, make the dinner reservation? Because she feels more comfortable having me call strangers. This is going to help you with decision making, because in consulting and service and real estate, you need to figure out who's going to ultimately make the decision, or who's going to initiate the nudge for the decision, and who's going to execute on the decision. Very important stuff. What would constitute a perfect day for you? What is a day in the life like for you? What's your day-to-day activities? What's your week-to-week activities? What are your month-to-month activities? Right? When did you last sing to yourself? Right? Or you know, what's your favorite song or band or art? This human interaction, are you getting the point here? I sell homes, right, for a living. That's what people think. But really, it's not price, it's people. It's not price, it's people. Do you have a secret, you know, name 3 things that you and your partner or you and someone you care about have in common? Like if it's a partnership, what do you guys have in common? And how are you different? Right? For homes, that's a very important distinction, right? And so it just goes on. And as you go down, you go deeper and deeper. And it's going to take you on a journey with these people, an emotional journey, in enriching and loving each other, you know, forming a love and bond. How do you feel about money? Right? How do you feel about money? What does money mean to you? Right? How would you utilize money? If you had $1 million, how would you use it? Right? Remember when you were a kid and you guys talked about what would you do if you won the lotto? What would you do? Right? Curiosity, playfulness come out of this. Imagination comes out of this. You know, activate the human brain, activate the imagination through the process. It's really important. A lot of people try to sell based on the X's and O's and the widgets and the gadgets and the products. And it's the features and benefits. It's like a big barf. It's like nobody cares, right? It gets old quick, right? There's going to be a time to go over that, but first let's focus on the person, especially in consulting and relationships like us. Think about the long term, not the short term. A lot of people are only thinking transactional, not relationships. Transactionals. No, it's relationships. It's relationships. What do you value most in a relationship? Is another question. What do you value most in friendship? What do you value most in a professional, an advisor? Right? What do you value most in those people? And there's the light and then there's the dark, right? There's always dichotomies. And so some of these questions get a little bit intense, right? What do you fear most? What's your biggest fear? What's your biggest fear in working with me, working in homes, buying a home, selling a home, life insurance? You know, what's your biggest fear in your job, in your life, in general, right? What's your biggest fear, right? You know, what's your earliest memory? What's your earliest memory? Let's see, it gets a little closer. How close are you with your family? See, I'm going deeper and deeper. How close are you with your family? How close are you with your parents, your siblings, right? How close are you with them, right? You know, tell me about your childhood. How was your childhood, right? What did you like best about it? Is there anything you would change about it? Very deep questions, right? These are very deep questions. And you're not going to necessarily go straight line. Straight line meaning I'm going to ask all these questions like I have a job to do. These are organic. You're going to practice them and they're going to come up organically in the conversations because you're curious, right? But you have some go-to questions that are jumping off points. It's like in leadership, we know that when we start a meeting, we need to break the ice, right? How do we break the ice? They say that in public speaking and in teaching. We got a new group of people, let's break the ice. One of the best icebreakers is self-disclosures. So tell me, we did one recently, tell me about the first album you bought or purchased with your own money, right? Tell me about your sports or extracurricular activities. Tell me about that stuff. And then you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And the 36 questions is absolutely amazing. But tell me about your relationship with your father. Tell me about your relationship with your mother. Make 3 true we statements. We are both in the room. Okay. So this would be like, you know, we both are feeling this about buying a home. So, you know, Nick, give me a we statement. We are feeling what? What do you think we're feeling about this situation or buying a home or selling a home? You know, so honesty starts coming out, trust starts coming out, and it just gets better and better. Now there's some questions in here that, you know, about death. A lot of people shy away from that. Personal problems. But if they do come up, and they will come up, personal problems, you know, just listen, be there for them. And so at the end of the day, it's the level of our relationships and the deepening of our love for our clients that matters the most. And that will define our longevity of our career and really how fruitful our career is and the amount of referrals that we get from our clients. And so, you know, the growth of your business is within your business. It's within each interaction. And the growth is how deep and rich and loving each interaction can be.